Tommy Aiello is joining me now, Senior Director with Government Affairs with the National Taxpayers Union. Julia Cartwright is an economist at the American Institute for Economic Research. Great to see you both this morning as we're taking a look at the big board here. The Dow down about 300 points. Yesterday it closed down about 800 points. Julia, though, the big reaction this morning is the price of crude oil, $115 Brent crude right now per barrel. This could climb higher based on what happened overnight. How does that impact everyday Americans here at home?
It impacts everyday Americans, sadly, quite a bit. We've seen, even just with this jump recently, gas prices jump another 4 cents. They are over 40% what they were before at the start of this war. And of course, energy prices ripple into every type of production in the economy, from what we eat to what we wear to the services that we are experiencing. So Americans are definitely bracing for higher prices. As the correspondent mentioned, the Fed decided to hold rates steady, and central banks around the world, including Japanese central bank and the European central bank, are also following suit because of this global uncertainty surrounding the war, trying not to spur inflation yet again.
Yeah, Tommy, we're looking at some of those gas prices right now. Obviously, California well above $5 a gallon, but the average right now, $3.88 across the nation. Is that going to continue to go up based on what happened with crude oil, WTI, Brent crude continuing to rise?
I think Americans should expect to pay elevated prices for gas and diesel fuel, at least over the next several weeks into the next several months. And that's because a supply disruption anywhere leads to price increases everywhere. And I think what most people are concerned about right now is Iran targeting energy infrastructure. That's not a Lego set. You can't rebuild that infrastructure right away. It's going to take years, potentially over a decade, to rebuild some of that energy infrastructure. That would take all of these LNG and crude export facilities offline for an extended period of time, which would lead to even higher prices in the future. So the sooner this crisis in the Middle East ends, the better it'll be for prices across the board for everyone.
And talking about timing, it was Vice President J.D. Vance speaking with voters in Michigan recently, promising that these prices, they would return to normal as soon as possible. And also, to your point, that the conflict in Iran, it's not going to be forever. Watch this.
Gas prices are up, and we know they're up, and we know that people are hurting because of it, and we're doing everything that we can to ensure that they stay lower. I will say, the president said this, and I certainly agree with it. This is a temporary blip. It's not going to last forever. We're going to take care of business. We're going to come back home. And when that happens, you're going to see energy prices come back down to reality.
So whether the vice president is accurate on that or not remains to be seen. Obviously, with the activity that we've seen overnight, those prices do continue to go up. Talk to us politically about that, Julia, though, because ultimately these midterm elections are coming up. They're going to have to answer for that.
Great point. These prices are what Americans are probably one of the most sensitive to. Gas prices are on a giant billboards, right, as you walk by. So people see those every day. And we see potential, as the other guest had noted, potential escalation in this. There have been infrastructure hit, which is a lot more difficult to bring online. So even if this war wraps up within the next few weeks, it's not necessarily that gas prices are going to immediately come down, because it's hard to bring that infrastructure online. Now, certain ships have been able to get through the Strait of Hormuz, which could put some downward pressure on those gas prices, the Iranian affiliated ships. But with the potential aspect of the Marines coming in, and I know there's talk of potentially taking over Cog Island, this could also lead to further negotiating or escalation of this. But the key word of this is uncertainty. And the more that this is, the more that markets don't like, and oil prices stay elevated.
Yeah. Tommy, what about the president issuing the 60-day waiver to allow non-American vessels to bring over oil? That is to alleviate some of the pressure. But how big of a number are we talking there?
Unfortunately, look, it's great that the president is coming up with creative solutions to try and address the problem. Yeah. Unfortunately, because so much oil travels through the Middle East around the world, not much the president can do right now to lower prices, even with those Jones Act exclusions, bringing on new pipelines in California, a waiver for less expensive gasoline throughout the summer. All of those things are good steps in the right direction, but it's no substitute for all of the oil that's currently stranded in the Middle East. And unfortunately, like I said, a supply disruption anywhere will lead to price increases everywhere. Particularly on diesel fuel, I'm very concerned about that. All of the goods that travel over trains and trucks, they require diesel fuel. Those prices are going to get passed along to consumers in the short to medium term.
Yeah, and also jet fuel, right? And seeing prices go up for those that are trying to travel despite the TSA issues, paying more for your flight. We do appreciate that. Tommy, Julia, thank you very much. Good to see both of you.
Thanks for having me.